evening. This is Bob, W6CJX, and I'll be your net control operator for tonight's Papa System Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Before we get started, let's pause for any emergency or priority traffic. Okay, hearing nothing but crickets, we'll continue with the net. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time with the double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The Papa system is an open membership-supported system in the Southern California area with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're a visitor to the Papa system tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll have 45 days of free access to the Papa system. And at the end of your guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member and continue to use and be a part of the Papa system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and coming up next week, monthly Papa System Net, regardless of their membership status. This is the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. All right, got the crickets all herded back into their cage, so they're put away for maybe to the end of the net. Hope everyone's staying semi-cool. I guess it was kind of a warm weekend, but hey, it's summer. We got to get used to it, I suppose. But not too bad here. We got 75 in the shack and probably maybe 65 outside. I don't know, something like that. Don't have the outside temperatures anymore. So hope everyone had a good weekend, maybe field day, maybe related. I couldn't come up with a topic, so I figured, well, I did. The topic was field day. Hopefully we can find some people out there that participated. And if you did, let us know. And if you didn't, let us know why you didn't, I guess, or if you ever have before. And as always, you can check in, just say hello. Give us what you did this weekend that had to do with an outdoor activity of some type. You know, anything goes as walking in the woods, walking down the trail, hiking, kayaking, you know, all that good stuff. So if you didn't do field day, that's okay. I didn't either, but was doing some listening on different frequencies just to see if anybody around here was working maybe some simplex or something like that. So, all right, let me take another pause, and let's see, we're good with some announcements, and then we'll hear maybe a quick report from Steve, KI6LV, from out on the trail this weekend, see what he's got. So let's go to the announcements first.
Here are the Papa System weekly announcements for the week of July 7th. The Papa Inland Empire Breakfast. Papa will be meeting in person on Saturday, July 12th at 9 a.m. at the Mill Creek Cattle Company. Everyone is welcome. We will be offering ham license testing at 8 a.m. for technician, general, and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for attendance and for ham license testing at 8 a.m. The Papa West Side Luncheon. Papa will also be meeting in person on Saturday, July 12th at 11 a.m. at the Sizzler Culver City. We will be offering ham license testing at 10 a.m. for technician, general, and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for attendance and for ham license testing at 10 a.m. Papa Quick Start Program. In conjunction with our test sessions, we have a Quick Start program for newly licensed technicians. Our Quick Start program is designed to get you on the air as soon as your new FCC license arrives and help you understand how to use a radio on the Papa system to communicate with fellow hams. The Papa system will provide you with a pre-programmed UHF handheld radio at no cost to you and assist you with technical and operational issues as you learn more about ham radio. More details are available at the test session and on the Papa website. The USS Midway Museum radio team, NI6IW, will be on the air on Saturday, July 12th, from 0900 to 1600 Pacific Standard Time, highlighting Independence Day. Check the Papa website for modes and frequencies. All this information and a whole lot more can be found on the PAPA website at papasys.com.
Okay, well, it's going to be a little bit in the future. We don't really have anything next weekend, but I believe it's the next weekend. Not even in July yet, but we're darn close. It's the 29th or something. So it's coming. All right, with that, let's see for any other announcements. And if there isn't any other announcements, we'll go to Steve, our field reporter. Any other announcements? Please come now. Well, I didn't even hear any crickets that time, so I guess there really isn't. Let's see if Steve's out there, if he's available. I know I think he went to the cabin this weekend. Sounded like it was a pretty nice weekend for it. So let's see if Steve has a report for us. KI6LOV, the microphone's yours.
Well, good evening, Bob, and everyone out here on the Great Outdoor Net. This is Steve, KI6LOV, fresh off the trail this afternoon, back down from the cabin. And summer is here, and it was pretty warm today, and my lesson for everyone is, and I know most people don't need to hear this, but bring plenty of water. Bring more than you think you need. I am constantly seeing people on the trail who do not have enough with them. I know people think, well, water's really heavy, but I'll tell you what, it's the one thing that if you need it and don't have it, you have a real problem on your hands. And over the years, there have been times when I have shared my water with other people because I knew they needed it, or I was going to have to call the search and rescue, and I really didn't want to do that. I also wanted to mention that I personally have not seen any rattlesnakes in years. Now, it may very well be because of the bobcat fire out near my cabin, but I expect they're still out there, and my concern is that if they're out there and the place has been closed for so long, and now all the people hiking on the trail are scaring them off into the bushes, so they're just lurking on the edge of the trail instead of being out where they can be seen. So be extra vigilant about the watching for any kind of snakes. And if you've never heard a rattlesnake before, people ask me, what does it sound like? Well, when you hear it, you'll know it. And it doesn't sound like crickets, Bob. So that's my report from the field this weekend. This is KI6LOV. Back to net control.
Oh, I like that. It doesn't sound like crickets. Yeah, I'm sure. No, it does. It gives you that little, where the hair, they say the hair stands up on the back of your neck or wherever it might stand up on your arms. It's like an adrenaline shot, I think, when you hear a rattlesnake, either for the first time or at any time, just because of that possible threat. So that good advice there. And it's interesting that your observation was that you haven't seen any, at least out in the cabin area there. I know there's daily snake findings here in Ventura County as far as being called out on the fire department and the public service snake. They don't always say rattlesnake, but I would say most of the time it probably is a rattlesnake. And I think a good rule of thumb, like you said, the water is heavy, but not as heavy as you are being carried out off the trail. We can patent that one, Steve. And you have to be carried off the trail because you didn't bring enough water. A lot heavier than water. All right. Thank you, Steve. As always, KI6LOV, and he does the Wednesday night New Hampshire net. W6CJX here for the PAPA System Great Outdoor Net. Doesn't mean it's a great net. It just means great outdoors. And we give Donna credit for that because she said, you should name it the Great Outdoor Net. And there, the star was born. Okay, let's see. Where am I at now? I don't know. I'm still sitting here. Haven't left yet. So, okay, thank you, Steve, as always. And I thought I had something else for Steve, but maybe not. All right, just a quick little check-in with our UK affiliate, PAPA UK affiliate, and give us a little history on the Art of Field Day, I guess you could say. It's kind of interesting. Most of us know, but if you don't, here we go.
What is the history history of Amateur Radio Field Day. Here's a look at its history. Origins in emergency preparedness. The first ARRL Field Day was held in June 1933. It was conceived by F.E. Handy, then ARRL Communications Manager, as a test of the emergency availability of portable stations and equipment. The primary goal was to encourage amateur radio operators to practice setting up and operating temporary radio stations in the field, often using alternative power sources, to simulate conditions that might exist during a disaster when traditional communications infrastructure is down. This practical experience was, and still is, crucial for preparing hams to provide vital communication links in emergencies. Today, ARRL Field Day remains the largest single emergency preparedness exercise in the United States and Canada, with tens of thousands of operators participating each year. It continues to highlight the vital role amateur radio plays in public service and disaster relief. It is typically held on the last full weekend in June each year.
Yeah, that's usually one question that everyone always asks. When is Field Day? I know it's in June sometime, and so just keep in mind it's always the last full weekend of of June. So it could be, I think, let me see. I think sometimes it's the third weekend, fourth weekend, but either way, that's how they judge that. So yeah, been to a few field days. They're good. I know it is a way to prepare for emergencies. We do have our share, I should say. I always thought, the hams that are in the Midwest and East and from us here have a lot more emergencies with, tornadoes, hurricanes, and the like. But we have our fires, and, then we have our floods, and then we have everything else. So we do have our share, so it's good to be prepared. And if you have a local emergency group by you or near you, it's a good idea to maybe join. You can join as ARES, or I have joined about, back in 2013, the ACS group for Ventura County Sheriff. And that's a good group of people to know and to be a part of. We have a lot of backup frequencies. They've got the mesh networks and all kinds of things. Pretty much every hospital, a few fire departments, a few sheriff. We have our local sheriff's department here. Police department is an EOC, which is completely outfitted with a bunch of radios that are for us, and including the main one up in Ventura, which is down kind of underground. It's kind of interesting when you go there for the first time. But they've got just about, it looks like some big command center with monitors, like TV-type monitors. They can monitor different things, and of course everything is pretty secured if you need to, we had a disaster or something even worse, or you could still get communications out from down there. All right, enough of that. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. We're talking some field day stuff, or just, maybe getting out with your radio. We have never done an official, field day episode here, so I'd like to put that out on the archive tonight and have something for people to listen to. So let's see who's out there and take a few check-ins and see what you got, and we'll go from there. W6CJX standing by.
6 Quebec, Dale.
KD6 LLB, Logan.
KJ6 GEU, Bob.
KO6 JCA, Jeff.
N6 HAL, Hal.
Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo, Jeff.
Kilo Charlie 6 Echo Sierra Whiskey, Mike. Maritime.
All right. That's a good group to start with for sure. And so if you didn't happen to go to a field day or knew of one, maybe didn't make it there, but just let us know where there was one. I know Seabark had theirs up here in Newberry Park. Of course, there's always the Reagan Library, which is pretty popular. And you don't even have to really be a ham. You can go in there and actually someone will probably let you, do a little bit of operating under their supervision of third-party traffic. And then even if you are a ham, but maybe you're only a technician, let's say, and you want to get on there as long as the person that has that station has control over it. And so if they walk away and go have a cup of coffee, you better stop talking. Okay, let's go to the top. Let's say hello to Dale, N6AQQ. Welcome, Dale.
This is Dale, N6AQQ. Didn't do field day this year. Went to the Papa at Lansky lunch and just came home. I didn't do field day this year. Not sure why, but didn't. As far as places to have it, they had it. I picked up the Orange County Red Cross at the Orange County Club. Had it at the. Anyway, back to that N6AQQ. Thanks for doing that.
Well, good to hear you, Dale. And yeah, even just like I said, being aware where they have them, and that may introduce people to, like you said, the Red Cross. You may not even know where your Red Cross is. I mean, does everyone know where their Red Cross is? I do, because we do have an EOC there, and with the radios and everything here in Camarillo. And the other thing I kind of didn't really forget, but is a lot of us have gone through the CERT program, and I know Hal just went through his and passed, and that's another great program. Not always really radio related too much. It'd be nice if we would maybe well, let's let Hal tell us when we get to Hal. What the hell? I always like saying that. Okay, I've got Logan next, but Logan, stand by for a sec. I want to see if I can get Mike. I know he's Maritime Mobile, so let's see if we can bring in KC6ESW and see how he's doing. Are you paddling? Or what's going on there, Mike? Go ahead.
W6CJX and the net, KC6ESW. Good evening, 719 Alaska. We're on the Carnival Legend. We just pulled out of Ketchikan about an hour ago, and now we're en route to Prince Rupert, British Columbia. So we got to Juneau a few days ago. It's an adventure. So based on Alaska, so then Juneau to Skagway. Did the train and the trip up to the Yukon, which was great trip there. And then today we're in yesterday we were cruising the Endicott, the passageway there, and today we were in Ketchikan. Again, heading south to Prince Rupert, which is actually in Vancouver. So we'll be there, and then we come home next Thursday. But it's been a great trip. The waters are pretty calm. It's been very, very cool. And saw a Baldy. Well, came real close to the ship actually. It's been a great trip, really nice, and a great nice ship. And again, the waters are very, very placid for the most part. But again, a lot of clouds, a lot of fog, so definitely not a Baku's high. But thanks for letting me check in. It was always a pleasure to check in when I'm on vacation. And if you haven't gone to Alaska, folks, please put it on your list, because this is the last frontier. It's just so beautiful, unbelievable. Hey, Bob, 7-3 is back to you, and 7-3 is to Carolyn. KC6ESW, Maritime Mobile.
Well, great. That sounds good. And say hello to Chris for us. Enjoy yourself. I'm sure I can speak for most everyone on the net tonight. Is probably we're all envious. We wish we were all up in Alaska at this point too. So I'm sure it would be really nice. And that's kind of a bucket list place for I think a lot of people. It's really fun to go up there and check it out. I enjoy all the shows on Alaska, and so it makes you want to go even more. So all right, well, enjoy, be safe, and look forward to hearing from you too when you get back. So all right, thank you, Mike, and let's say hello to Logan, KD6LLB. Welcome, Logan.
Good evening, Bob, and everybody out there. And it was good to hear from Steve. And yeah, it was definitely a little warmer, seemed to me, this weekend than it's been, but not as bad not as hot as it gets. Picking up on the discussion of the sound of rattlesnakes, I've got a list started here. I'm working on a list of nature sounds that we can play in the house to just make a relaxing atmosphere. And the crickets, like you have at the beginning of the net, are definitely on the list. Frogs look like they're on the list. And it sounds like rattlesnakes and swarms of hornets are not popular, relaxing nature sounds, so I'm going to scratch those off. I don't know if I identified. This is Logan, KD6LLB on Papa 4, and if it's not obvious, I haven't had a lot of sleep. I was busy. I basically had a lot I needed to take care of, and but I did manage to get out on Saturday for field day and visited the Conejo Valley ARC. They set up on Portero Road in Westlake Village, and they're pretty famous. I've always heard about them. They have a great operation. It's just a perfect place to visit and talk with people. They're not locked into trying to win the contest. That's not a contest, whatever that means. And so they had. It's hard to believe, but they have 23 stations that can operate all at the same time, and they have just a whole field of antennas, and they've got it worked out so that they can run each of the stations without interfering with the other, and that's not trivial. And but most of all, there are a lot of people in Ventura, your area there, Bob, that are just really good to talk to and learn from, and I got to talk to a few of them, some of them for the first time, people that I've heard on the radio and known about, and some that I hear. I mean, every net, Zach N6PK is there, and I finally got to meet him in person, and that was great. And field day is a good chance, in my opinion, to meet some people that you hear on the radio. It's like a pop-up breakfast or a pop-up event. I mean, going out and meeting the people that you hear on the air in person really is it's just a great thing. So, and as far as operating, I also did something different this field day. I did not get on the air at CVARC. They certainly didn't need my help. So when I got home, I was free to get on the air, and I spent about 3 hours. I made a pretty skimpy count. I think I had 42 contacts on HF. I did some other radio things, but they didn't count towards field day. I have no intention of logging any of this. I was just trying to give points out, and it was easy and relaxing and fun, and I enjoyed it. And other than that, hope everybody has a great week coming up, and thanks for doing the net as always, Bob. KD6LLB, back to net.
Well, thank you, Logan. I figured there'd be a few people that have been out and about doing field day, and there's going to probably be a lot of people that aren't here that might have done field day, and the real hardcore, die-hard ones that literally spend the whole night, whether they stay up or they just take shifts and things. And yeah, CVARC's a great club, great radio club up here in the Conejo Valley. Great bunch of people, a lot of knowledge there. Zach's a good guy. He's part of our ACS. In fact, most of the guys that are in ACS are part of CVARC, and so I got to know all of them through the years too. So glad you got to meet Zach. Yeah, he was the Area 2 emergency coordinator, and I think that was baton was handed off to Stu, AG6AG, another great guy too. And he's hard to follow when you're doing the net because he has so much enthusiasm in his voice. And then you come on, and then they usually have like 130 check-ins on the ACS net, and then I have like 15 or something. So it's anyway, hard act to follow. Thank you, Logan. Good job there. And I would say 42 contacts or so are nothing to shake at. Certainly some of us didn't have any contacts, so good job. I'm glad you were able to do that. Let's say hello to Bob, KJ6GEU. Good evening, Bob. And are you traveling or are you at home yet? W6CGX Net Control.
Hi, Bob. It's Bob, KJ6GEU. I'm still mobile. I just got off the 118, so I'm about a mile from the house. As far as field day, didn't do much of anything this year. Made a few contacts on HF at home, but that was about it. My wife had some stuff she needed me to help her with. Last year, though, I'm also a member of CVARC as well, and last year I actually went and spent a few hours with them and helped them pile up some points. Last year, I think they had the highest number of points for a club in the country, so they did really well. Yeah, you're right. They've got quite an operation there. Zach and Keith and those guys are interesting. You're definitely right about that. And Stu, I've known him, AG6AG. I've known that guy for like 30 years. He's definitely got a zest for this. If you're interested, he also has a YouTube channel under his name, Stuart Sheldon, and he puts out videos every so often. They're almost all ham related, and he's got a wealth of information to share. So maybe I'll do field day again next year. I just made a few contacts this year. That was it at home. And Bob, thanks for the email about next week. I will definitely be trying to be there. Looking forward to it. KJ6GEU, back to net control. You guys have a great night, 73.
You had me laughing completely out loud when you said, I've known Stu for 30 years. Oh, he's priceless. He has just got, you just like that all the time. I mean, even at the meetings and stuff, when he just turned to speak, you can hear him loud and clear, and he's got that enthusiasm in his voice. So he is just a wonderful guy, and very knowledgeable. He actually did our, what do I want to call that? It's our page that we use for ACS when we do logins. It's like a login page, so it's got everyone's call sign name and little radial tick buttons that you can click if the person did check in, and then it tallies it up of who was there. It just, made our lives so much more simple. We were doing it on a spreadsheet before, and he came up and designed that whole thing. As far as I'm aware, there may have been other people involved, but I know Stu was one of them. So we're grateful for that. And, great group of people. Okay, yeah, sounds good, Bob. We're going to have a great one next week. It's scheduled anyway, and as far as I know, everything's good. And so calling all photographers that have any, or people that just love photography, come next weekend. We'll have a great special guest. Won't let the cat out of the bag as I sort of did last week, but I want to make it kind of a surprise too. And for Logan, there's a baby rattler. Not a baby rattlesnake, just a baby rattle. At least I think so anyway. All right, W6CJX for the Papa System and Great Outdoor Net. Thank you, Bob. As always, great for hearing you because you're always mobile and still checking into the net. It's just amazing. I love it. Let's say hello to Jeff, KO6, Juliet, Charlie Alpha.
Thanks, Bob. KO6 JCA, Jeff here coming in on Papa 3 this evening, and I did have my first field day opportunity as a ham. I actually went over 2 days. I went on Friday to help set up a local field day operation. I helped them haul around the huge antennas and set up some stations, and went back Saturday. I didn't get on the air, but I think the heat down here in Orange County was affecting attendance. There wasn't that many people there, but it was a great experience, and I was able to get out on trail. There were some convenient hiking trails, and I wanted to follow on to Steve's comment about the rattlesnakes. And it's interesting, Steve, I've seen a lot of rattlesnakes in Orange County, and for folks that are afraid of rattlesnakes, just know that they're more afraid of you, and so you just need to give them distance and respect, and they're great members of the great outdoor community, so we need those rattlesnakes, and just enjoy them when you see them, and give distance. 7-3 to net, back to net control, KO6 JCA.
Well, great. I'm glad you were able to get out and do your first field days and do a couple things there. That was really good. And maybe got a little hiking in also. Yeah, I agree with the snakes. I guess we're turning this into kind of a field day, snake night, which is fine. You could talk about rattlesnakes forever, and they deserve our respect for sure. I get it where you have dogs involved and maybe some livestock and stuff that you want to keep them at bay, but definitely the best way to see a rattlesnake on the trail is stretched out and making his way across the trail and not coiled up. But I've seen some videos on YouTube which are horrible in the sense that, younger adults will go up, did I say adults? I don't know if they were adults or not, but they go up with a stick and start poking them, getting them to, coil up, and that's just the wrong thing to do. I mean, if you get bit, you deserve it if you're doing that. So don't do that. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Good to hear you again tonight. And let's say hello to Hal, N6HAL. Let us know if you did any field day, and I think you mentioned, was it last night or something about doing CERT and finishing your CERT program. So let us know a little bit about that.
N6HAL, Hal. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for the news bullet you gave me earlier. Thought you were going to steal my thunder, but I didn't do anything radio-wise on field day. I spent field day at the former fire department that I belonged to's classroom and fire tower, getting certified to be on the city's community emergency response team, CERT team. And yesterday was our last day. We all passed. We're all certified. And now we just got to get signed up for applications and everything. And I did know of one field day. There was a field day at Dixon Lake in Escondido. Our CERT instructor, he was going to go up there after he finished teaching us yesterday. And our San Marcos CERT team, the ones that are already in there are several ham operators in there. And now, of course, I'll be adding one more. And I know Oceanside has a lot of ham operators on their CERT team. There was a representative there from Oceanside. And he says they even have the ham radios in their EOC center. And I think maybe Escondido might too. But it's very interesting. I hope to push ham radios on our CERT team if I can to the best of my ability and see if I can sway them to do more for us. And Bob, if you could give me your email somehow. I got a couple of pictures I want to send you, fire department related. And for Logan, he might want to add the loons to his list of sounds. N6HAL, back to the net, Bob.
Well, I've never heard loons before, but I hear they're pretty popular. I used to open the net with that, too. All right. Go away. I have way too many buttons on my control board. Well, congratulations on your CERT certificate and getting through the class. It was definitely a lot of fun for me, too. I got to go to the RTC, which is for Ventura County, the Regional Training Center over here, and it was just wonderful because they have cars that you can do the cribbing, we didn't have anybody, we had a dummy underneath the car, but we had to jack the car up and put the cribbing in there, and a lot of it brought back a lot of memories from the fire department. And of course I had to mention, I was a fireman at one time, and guess what they had me do? I came back and I started not training, but assisting training. So I did that for a couple of years. Because we'd have our refresher courses or refresher times where we just come out for the day. They'd give us lunch, and of course we'd just go through some of the trainings, go through the building with a bunch of smoke in there. It's just the fake stuff, but rescuing people that were in there and had them all made up. So really good stuff. And we had a really good group out there, and so I really enjoyed that. So. Yeah, my email is just my call sign, W6CJX, my name, Bob, at Gmail. So it's really easy, W6CJX, Bob, at Gmail. And then you can send me anything for that. That would be great. Always a pleasure, Hal. If you got anything else, come on back in. Let's say hello to Jeff, AB6MB, up on the San Francisco Bay. Good evening, Jeff.
Good evening, Bob, and thank you for doing the net. Well, let's see. Field day, I didn't do much, or at all actually, but I was up on the Seattle group up there on their system, and because I'm real, from Seattle, and I just hearing about their club went with about 3 other clubs and set up in Seattle, and they had a really big setup. But it was more they had their usual nets at 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. and 9 p.m. and doing a lot of reporting back on their field day, and they were having a great time. Everything went really well, and I was talking to them off and on the system and getting reports, and it's kind of cool. I could actually get a sense of what was going on with them, and it was they did a great job. And like I said, I got some pictures sent back to me of their setups, and it was pretty cool that they went out of the way to kind of include me in a way. But that was pretty much it. Just listening about it and hearing people talking about it, and so it made for a pretty good weekend. Anyway, without joining Field Day this year, but I did enjoy all the reports and everything like this. So it's pretty cool. So back to you, Bob. Thanks again for doing the net, AB6MB.
Yeah, that sounds great, Jeff. I remember you used to say they have like a rain or shine event. What is that all about, if you have a quick second to talk about it?
They all get together at a certain spot in Seattle area, parks and some other places, and they call it rain or shine because they can go there whether it's raining or the sun's shining, because Seattle, it rains. So they always have a way to be underneath cover. So they just set it up. It's kind of like the breakfasts. Same idea, everybody getting together, and it works out pretty good. AB6MB.
And don't forget the donuts. I bet you that's probably one of the main staples that gets brought, and bagels, and Starbucks coffee. Hey, they're actually in that same state. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. And let's see. I'm out of station, so let's see if we have anybody else out there that would like to come in. And we're talking field day. Any plans you might have had or didn't have, or just anything you did this weekend?
Zulu Whiskey. Yeah, I'd like to do a shout-out for the GOTA lady who came to our L.A. West Los Angeles VA hospital event. So when it's my turn, I'll give you the details.
Well, you're in luck, Don. It's your turn. Zulu Whiskey. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, we didn't have a great turnout. In years past we did, but because of all the construction going on in the West LA VA and COVID and all the rest of the things, it was okay. Could have been worse. We barbecued, we made a lot of food for people, but the most important thing was there's a young woman out there named Celeste who's listening, I hope, who's going to get her tech license, who we got into the Get on the Air event. It was real thin on HF, but really good on VHF, UHF, and she made a couple of contacts and made some calls. And the chief of the West Los Angeles VA Hospital Emergency Operations Center, boy, that's a mouthful, Ben hooked her up with a brand new Yaesu radio, which I programmed with a couple of frequencies, the Papa frequency, the Cara frequency, and of course the West Los Angeles N6 GLA frequency. And so she's listening. Obviously, she can't transmit, but she's listening, hopefully, and she's going to go get her tech license when she does some studying. So, Celeste, it was really nice meeting with you, and I hope you get your tech license and listen to the Papa systems. They've got all kinds of nets that are available, and that's all I got to say. So it was thin, but it was worthwhile. We had a good time. So that's all I have, Bob. Whiskey 6, Zulu Whiskey, back to net control. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Don. Yeah, that's perfect. I think I remember RJ saying he went down to that area and couldn't find anything. But maybe, like you said, with the construction and things going on, maybe they moved to some other location, someplace that he was familiar with. But yeah, I hope Celeste is listening, and definitely get your license. You'll enjoy it very much. It's a great hobby, and not only that, it's a good backup for emergencies. So if you figure, if everything kind of goes down, we'll still have probably repeaters up And even worst case scenario, you could probably go into a simplex mode with your HT somewhere and get some high ground, and you'll find somebody out there. So that's definitely a big plus. And you don't even have to really have HF for that, but just to get a hold of somebody. All right, good to hear you there, Don. And let's take a few more check-ins. Anyone else like to check in with us? This is W6EJX, net control for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. Please come now.
Yeah, KM6AVH.
KC6WTN.
6 DOJ, Johnny.
KO6BKX.
Kilo Oscar 6, Juliet Golf Echo, Randy in Glendale.
Okay, that looks like a nice little round. We picked up RJ, KM6AVH, Jeff, KC6WTN. Johnny, KO6COJ, you might want to move over to 1 or 30, because 26 ain't working very well, but I know it was you. And KO6BKX Evo, or Eva, and let's see, he's going to kill me, KO6JGE Randy. So let's start at the top. RJ, welcome.
Yeah, KM6AVH. If Don is still there, he has to let me know where they were, unless they just had their cloaking devices on, and I could never see them because they were invisible. KM6AVH.
All right, well, let's try to go through net control. Yeah, did you Google it? Let's see if Don's there. Whiskey 6, Zulu Whiskey. Well, when I replay it tomorrow, I'll let you know what he said. I was listening. I know he said it was the west side or west LA VA. And, you know, there was Jim, the KE6FBN, last week, I think, said they were going to be at some park. I think it said Recreation Park. I don't know if that's just the name of the park or it's just a recreational park. But Jim might have known too. But maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I know you didn't find it. Do you have anything else, RJ?
No, that's it. It's just a rehash of my misadventures for field day. Nope, that's it. KM6AVH, back to net control.
Okay. Well, I guess you got to, check your mileage and make sure that everything's working fine. I'm sure that wasn't why you went there. All right. And hopefully we'll hear from you next Sunday. Put that one on your calendar. I think we already talked about that, but it should be a lot of fun. KC6WTN, Jeff, what's going on in Simi Valley tonight? And welcome.
Hi, Bob. Thanks for doing the net. It's finally cooling off here in Simi. I'm sure it's cooling off even more where you're at. I had planned on going to field day at the Reagan Library, being in Simi, but I was up really late Friday, and I checked out the local Simi Club website and just wanted to see more about them, and I checked their activities tab. Hadn't been updated since 2022. So I'm thinking, even if I show up and they might have some people there, is it a club that's worth investing in? I don't know. So I decided to sleep in instead. I'm much happier with Papa right now. Papa is always current, lots of activities going on, so I won't knock them because they're a smaller group, but I'm happy where I'm at and okay with missing field day there for this year. Back to net control, KC6WTN.
Well, I think you're probably referring to the Simi Settlers. At least that's the one group that I know of in Simi, and they are a really good group. And like I said, a lot of the different clubs in the Ventura County area are part of our ACS group, and so, different ones we know from different places. But yeah, Reagan is probably the best place, if you can get a place to park, because you're going to still have regular people going there that are non-hams and have no idea what a field day is. but then they'll learn when they get there and find out, like, what are these guys all with these tables and pop-ups and tents and what's going on here? So that's a big open door to bring in and welcome in some new people for ham radio, especially some of the younger guys or summer kids, get them interested early too. So, or maybe there'll be one or two that, I used to do that. Maybe I'll get my license again, that kind of thing. So, but good to hear that you attempted to go. Yes, sleeping in is always a good thing. One thing I do love about retirement, don't have to get up unless I want to. Let's see if Johnny's found a different repeater. I think he usually comes in on 1 sometimes. 30 should be good, but I don't know if he can reach it. Depends on what his QTH is at the moment. So KO6COJ, welcome, my friend.
Hey, good evening, Bob. This is Johnny coming in on Echolink. I'll be short. Had a great field day. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to show up early enough to meet up with Logan, but we had a lot of fun. We have an after-dark net last night at 9 p.m., and we were all seated in a cigar-shaped pattern, probably about 25 of us, passing a handheld around and running the net from field day, so it was a lot of fun. Anyway, thanks for doing the net, Bob. Good to hear you, and I'll send it back to Net Control, KO6COJ.
Yeah, I think I saw the picture. Well, that was April that you took a picture of. She's one of our ACS groups in the group too, and CVARC, I suppose, right? And uses for field day. It's really it's one of those, well, probably military type, I guess. It turns into like you'd see a small hospital put together or something. So yeah, well, let's try to do something this next week coming up. What we got? Oh, we've got a few appointments, but we'll see. Maybe we can meet up somewhere. We'll go back to field day and see if anybody's still there. Oh, thanks for checking in, Johnny. You sound great on Echolink. Kind of freaked me out at first. I'm hearing you and I'm looking at the dashboard and I don't even see him anywhere. So where is he? Then you said Echolink. So, but that sounded stellar. Absolutely stellar. All right, thanks, Johnny. And let's say hello to Evo. That's with an I, not an E, and not an A at the end. It's KO6BKX.
Good evening, Barb. How are you doing? I didn't do much for field day myself, other than listening to HF and trying to help some people gathering some points. We had a good meeting in Fullerton yesterday morning. About a good 20 people showed up, and I think everybody was happy. At 5 a.m. this morning, I got an invitation to join a friend of mine on 7.236. So my day started early. And because of Field Day, we got a new participant on the Simplex exercise Sunday mornings at 7. There was 2 guys on there a little bit before 7, and they explained that their frequency they are usually talking on Simplex was reserved for field day, so they decided to give the frequency up for us doing the Simplex exercise, and one of them joined us, so that was actually a very good thing. All right, I'll give it back to you, Barb, and thanks for doing the net. KO6BKX Evo in Tustin.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, Sunday mornings, boy, that's a tough one. I'm usually in church at 6:30 in the morning. Let's say hello. Thank you, Evo. And let's say hello to Randy. How about KO6, Juliet Golf Echo, and it's Randy. Well, okay, maybe not. That was just, okay, well, I know. I haven't had much sleep either. Let's say hello to Lou. I got Lou, W8LOU. What's happening, Lou? Did you get to do any field day this weekend? I know you had possible plans, but let's see if they came to fruition. Is that how you say that? I don't know. Lou, welcome.
Hey,
Hey, thanks for having me. No, I didn't get to do anything for Field Day. Just did stay home, enjoy the pool with the family. Grandson came over, neighbors came over, and had a fun day in the pool. So no Field Day for me. Today we just barbecued and stayed home and enjoyed the pool as well, and just got done having a nice steak, baked potato, some grilled zucchini, and corn on the cob. Man, it couldn't have been any better. Would have liked to participate in Field Day, but just, I didn't have time. Gotta hang with the family when you can. Life's too short, so you gotta make time for them. But hey, good net, good topic. Thanks for having me out here. I know Scott, too bad he didn't come on here. He was up at Topo Canyon camping out up there, and he did Field Day all weekend, Friday, Saturday, into Sunday. I'd like to hear about that. Maybe we'll hear him on during the week. All right, 7-3. Back to the Sopranos. WLOU. 7-3, Bob. Back to you, Bob.
Well, I always thought I was more of a baritone. That's funny, Sopranos. Yeah, I wish we could get Scott on. I know they're not much net people, or this type of net. I know they probably do HF nets and all those, of course. But there's a few out there that you hear on. So maybe he'll give us a little rundown during the week. If we hear him on, I'm sure I know he was really adamant about maybe not having as many visitors as before, and wanted to really, work on getting points and do what he wants to do, or contacts, whatever he did. So that sounds good. So hopefully he did have a good Field Day. And yeah, you got to do what you're doing for sure. You work a lot, so we all know that. And the family doesn't get to see you very much, and so if you can spend some good quality time with what sound like some pretty darn good food, that all works out in my book too. That's very good. W6CJX for the Papa System, Great Outdoor Net. We're talking Field Day. If you did any Field Days this weekend, we had to do Field Day. I mean, what else? Why not? This is kind of do Field Day every year. One of the nets here and there. And it is an outdoor event, mostly, I would say, and it's on battery power. And I've even run this net, I think, on battery power a couple times just to, pretend that I'm doing Field Day, even though I think it's over now. Let's see who else is out there tonight. Probably a little light, which is fine. That's all right. I always say that, and then we get bombarded. So we'll see if we get bombarded. Any bombarders out there, please come now.
Kilo Foxtrot 6, Victor Papa Alpha.
Boy, you're so early. I didn't even know how to write your call sign down. That's great, Ray. I've been meaning to ask you, and I know, I don't know. I don't have to answer, but we have a gentleman on here from San Marcos Fire Department, and I just didn't know if you guys knew each other at all. I just figured you might. I know he does some of the volunteering at the tower and things. Maybe it's not the same tower, but his call sign's N6HAL. So you may have missed him in the past because you're coming off of your net and then coming in later. So I just didn't know if you heard him or not, and if you knew who he was. So you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But welcome to the Great Outdoors.
Well, thank you. I don't recognize the call sign. I might recognize him by name, but I don't know too many of the San Marcos folks. I did my academy through them, the first one they did through the community college, but that was in 1989. So, but a lot of my friends that I worked with in private ambulance ended up working for them, but I did not. I just don't recognize the call sign.
Well, I was able to meet him at the Papa Picnic, and I think he was fire chief for a while. And anyway, his name's Hal, and this was his call sign. But he's fairly new, I think, as a. He's probably still out there now. But anyway, I just thought, it's kind of fun to network a little bit, especially firefighters or ex-firefighters. Kind of put all that stuff together, and then he did mention something about doing a fire tower. So, did you get to do any HF or anything this weekend, Ray?
Comment.
Go ahead, comment. I think that was Hal.
Yeah, Bob, thanks. N6HAL. I didn't catch the name of the call sign on the gentleman you're talking to that works the towers. Could you come back with that for me, please?
Sure, it's Ray Trussell, and I'm lookout 13. I haven't been too active this year because I have a knee that I'm going to go in for surgery soon, but hopefully I'll be able to finish up this season.
Okay, I missed the call sign and the name. My clock was ticking. Could you get it again, please?
Sure, my name is Ray Trussell. My ham call is Kilo Foxtrot 6, Victor Papa Alpha, and my lookout ID is 13.
Okay, Ray, I got it. King Frank 6, Victor Papa Alpha, Ray Trussell, ID 13. I never actually got into the tower system. I backed out of it. Wasn't sure I could make it up those stairs, but I switched and decided to go on the CERT team in San Marcos. I was with the department from 1968 to 94, retired in 94. Harry Townsend is my name. I go by Hal. I was the chief for the last 10 years.
Okay, I definitely knew you as the chief. Dave Schloss and I can't remember, tall, thin, he became the chief. Todd Newman, Dave Schloss and Todd Newman taught my academy.
Yeah, okay. Dave's my nephew, and he was a division chief, and Todd did eventually become the chief. He retired, and Dave is still working in the fire service for the County Fire Protection District.
Nice. Well, they set me up for a career of success. It just came to an end about 8 weeks ago. I got pushed out the door in a medical retirement, unfortunately. I am 58, so it was coming eventually one way or another. But thank you, Chief, for letting me attend your academy in 1989. Really appreciated it.
Okay, Ray, we'll talk at you again. And Bob, thanks for letting us hook up there. Back to the net, M6HAL.
That was awesome. I couldn't have asked for anything better than that. I just thought I'd try to put these two together, and you never know. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, you, Hal, and thank you, Ray. Firemen, it's in our blood. It's brotherhood, just like the police and everyone, you know, all the public service. We have to take our hats off to them, or helmets, in this case. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I was really enjoying that. So it sounds like you kind of know each other a little bit. Yeah, just a little. All right, big family affair. All right, anything else, Ray? If you have, I don't want to cut you off. It kind of went sideways on that one a little bit, but it was actually a lot of fun and good. I'm sure everyone enjoyed that. Go ahead, Ray, if you have anything closing, and we'll go from there.
Oh, no. I could probably throw out a few more names that he would know, but I'm not going to take over the net with that, but thank you, Chief. Field day, I participated with our Escondido Amateur Club, and I took my motorhome up to the field day site. The city gives us a site next to Lake Dixon. It's a group campground, and gives that to us every year, and in return we do stuff for them. But I was in charge of the the VHF station, 10 meters and above, and was set up for 10 meters in FT8. And 10 meters was a deserted graveyard. I only had 10 or 15 contacts and had a nice Cushcraft 4-beam antenna up and directional, but it was terrible. I made many more contacts, just VHF, FM, 2 meter and 70 centimeter. But I won't bore you with all that. I will tell you, I had a learning experience, and you get 100 points for a satellite contact. So for Oscar 50, I'm all set up, handheld program. I've got the handheld antenna. We're ready to go. Well, you get the antenna pointed in the right direction. There's a whole group of us, and there's just nothing there. And I'm looking, I'm like, well, that's odd. You should hear something, right? Because I've heard it before, and space station and stuff like that, but nothing. I'm looking at the radio, and I had the input and the output frequencies completely reversed. And I'm like, well, quick thinking, I can just reverse it, and that'll work. Well, unfortunately, on the Baofeng, when you reverse it, it reverses the tone as well. So the input becomes the output and vice versa, but it takes the tone with it. So I could, we never even heard anything. And I went and quickly tried to reprogram the radio, and that was a flub. So I had the input and output reversed. So we later did get the International Space Station, but for some reason under the rules it's only worth a 1 point as a voice contact, but they must have known it was field day because they were up there working it. The astronaut, there was a lady astronaut that was just, sounded like an air traffic controller. She was just in full mode, and she was overloaded, I'm sure, but it was a blessing that they were doing that. Never did get a contact out of her, but at least we heard him once I got the radio reconfigured. So I guess it's a mistake I can learn from. Thank you. Have a great week. Everybody 73 is back to net control.
Well, that was the icing on the cake, for sure. Man, that was a really good report on field day. So, yeah, I guess all lessons or let's say mistakes are lessons learned. So just have to, yeah, that's interesting to know that. We reverse it, and then it reverses the tone, too, or the PL. Oh, interesting. I'll have to check into that, see what it's all about. But sounds like you had a good time. And, boy, I haven't heard anybody talk about the International, the ISS, the space station, but at least tonight anyway. But I bet that would be just something great to be able to hear, especially like you said, she was in full mode and just talking away. I guess most of them are hams, or a few of them up there, so it's kind of a neat thing, and it gives them a little something to do differently than their experiments and talking to Space National Control, whoever that is, NASA, or whoever they are these days, I don't know. All right, Ray, thank you so much. I gave Hal your, and earlier I told him about your night with the tower. I thought he would enjoy that, so I don't know if he's listened to it yet or not, but he probably will eventually. It's always a good one. I've listened to it like 3 more times. I'm sorry. I just thought it was the coolest. So, all right. With that, let's see who else we have. Well, I'm going to throw out a last call because I tried this last week and we ended up going to almost 10 o'clock. So we'll try it a little earlier this time and see if anyone has anything else on field day this week. And we'll bring you on in. W6CJX is net control.
Kilo November 6, Mike Romeo Golf.
KD6 LLB with a recheck.
KK6AKH Papa 1.
Okay. Looks like it dropped off pretty good there. We got Chris, we got Logan, and we picked up Frank. And let's say hello to Chris, KN6MRG.
Hello, Ned. I was not going to check in, but the last check-in, Ray, actually I went up to the Escondido field day today and met him. And he actually walked me through a bunch of FT8 stuff. Sorry, my neighbors are setting off fireworks right now. They think it's the 4th of July. And the next driveway is actually a CAL FIRE station, so I'm wondering if they're smart enough to know that. But yeah, the great field day was my first time actually going to a field day. But I researched it and looked into it and was hoping to make some contacts just solo, and then heard Ray on the VHF this morning because I was chasing some sodas. I was like, oh, they're there. And so I drove over to the other town and had a great visit, learned a lot. But yeah, so that's me. Back to net control.
Well, how cool is that? Boy, we're getting quite the family affair here. Got everybody knowing each other and seeing each other. So, well, good. I'm sure glad that you got to meet Ray. I haven't actually met him in person, but one of these days we will, and I bet that was really nice, so good job. And thanks for checking in, Chris. We appreciate you, too. Anyways, just come by and say hi. Let us know you're out there. Let's see. We have a recheck from Logan, and then we'll take Frank. KD6LLB. Go ahead, Logan.
Thank you, Bob. This is Logan, KD6LLB on Saddle Peak, Papa 4, and rechecking just to, just wanted to comment first, well, a couple of things. First, yeah, it's rare in my understanding. I think I can name 2 people that I know of who've actually made contact with astronauts on the space station. They're not on often. And my understanding is usually it's something that they more or less schedule with something like an elementary school or something. Anyway, it's very rare, and if you were able to make contact with an astronaut, that's pretty exceptional. And I also wanted to say how impressed I were that you were able to do anything on field day as far as satellite work with an HT. I actually lugged a 9700 and set up on the Nike LA-96 above Dirt Mulholland there on the eastern side of the Santa Monica Mountains, and did a practice run with the ISS before field day started. And then when the actual pass of the ISS, pretty good location. When it actually happened during field day, it was just mayhem. And my experience was there was a station in Canada that could basically just overrun the input, so you heard them through the ISS, and then maybe, I don't know, it's impossible to count, but the biggest pileup you could imagine with high gain antennas pointed at the ISS were just overloading the repeater, and there was no possibility of getting a word in edgewise, even with an IC 9700 and a good directional antenna. Well, a good portable. I mean, there are people using dishes and stuff. So just wanted to say how impressed I was that you were able to do anything. And as far as having the settings wrong, yeah, it's easy to, you don't find out until you actually try to make contact that, there's something to fix. So anyway, thanks for doing the net, and it was interesting, and yeah, the net took an unexpected turn, as it sometimes does, and it's great. KD6LLB, thanks again, Bob. Back to you.
Snakes and space stations. And fire department. Yeah, we had a nice little turn. Now, that's the one thing I do like. I think you just have to get the net started. You may not even have a topic, but it ends up, going one direction or another, and usually always works out pretty nice. At least that's my experience. And like with Darren last night, that was a great net also. And he said earlier that he goes, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to go for it. And it ended up being a really, really cool net. So, yeah, you never know. That's what's one of the fun things of being net controlled, because you're kind of nervous at first, but then if it goes good, it goes good. All right, let's say hello to Frank. KK6AKH. Did you get up to anywhere, Frank? Reagan or one of the other, or Seabart?
KK6AKH, good evening to you, Bob, and everybody else on the net. No, I didn't go up to the clubs this time. When I first started, I would go up to the clubs and to the two different clubs there and participate and stuff. But this year, I just kind of transmitted when I wanted to transmit and participate. I stand up at my station, so I was up one period for 4 straight hours, and my HOA, meaning my wife, said, let's go to dinner. Then I went to dinner, came back, and then took a short break. Then after taking a short break, I waited for another transition, where I normally do when I do an all-nighter, and then I waited for that time period. Then I went back on the radio and attempted to make some contacts, and then I went another 4 hours. Then it started picking up again after midnight on 20 meters. It opened up for me quite a bit. I was tempted to do it all the way into the morning. Then I said, no, I got to go to bed. So I shut down about 2 o'clock in the morning. But I went from 20 to 40, then back to 20 through the transitions. I was hoping to pick up Hawaii, but and I normally pick them up in the afternoon around 4 when the band conditions are good. But this time I missed them, and I didn't pick up anything, any DX, any type of DX contacts. A lot of the contacts are real close. Anyway, back to net, and I hope everybody else did better. This is KK6AKH.
Well, I think just the fact that anyone that participated at all in a field day, it doesn't have to be an event. You can definitely do it from your backyard, and just you get points for that if you're into that. And yeah, I kind of was the same way. When I started out, or when you and I both started out, we got our ticket around the same time, and you know, you're kind of gung ho and you can't wait to go to your first field day. And it's true. I mean, it's still great. It's just we had a family thing that we had to go to with our daughter and son-in-law, and so it was the thing we should be doing, not going to field day. But I guess if I could have made an extra effort, I could have broke away and gone up on the hill or something. But I will. I keep saying I'm going to, you know, get there one of these. I'll do it when I retire. Well, that didn't happen, so I got other things came up. Good to hear you, Frank. I'm glad you got to do something, though. All right. With that, I'm going to throw out one more last call because I feel bad if I don't. And let's see if we have anyone else out there to come on into the Great Outdoor Net fucking radios in the field, otherwise known as Field Day.
W6ALV, Andrew, Tucson.
Andrew, my boy. Hey. Now, you know what? I heard you talking on a different net, and we had just done the week before on the outdoor net about critters coming into your home, and it was so funny because you said, well, I was sitting here at the shacker, and the big tarantula, black tarantula walked in. That was priceless, so I wish I was on the outdoor net, but at least we got to hear it. That was good. So go ahead, Andrew, and welcome. We'll let you put the bow on it, or tie the tent flaps.
Well, I'm going to send this out at first, but thank you for letting me check in, by the way. Great net, by the way. You see here. That was on a D-Star net, I believe it was. It was at Doug. Yeah, I was just late checking in as usual, you know me. And here comes this brown tarantula, just cruising up the walkway, the side door, just saying hi to me, right by my feet. You know, we have a lot of black tarantulas, but I haven't seen them in a while. Because I don't know what happened over here. They're gone, but big toads are around here, everything. Scorpions are good. They're in full quantity. But the black tarantulas, they like to eat the scorpions, so they're your friends. But the brown ones, they're just as big, but they're not good for your body, man. They'll sting you, they'll bite you. It'll get you like a kind of like one of those weird little. I can't remember the spider's name, but yeah, you don't want that stuff. The brown ones they're poisonous. They really are. Anyways, I know that drama. He's gone. That was a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, I had a pack of javelinas just come up in the garage, right in the garage, like 8 of them, and it had like 6 little babies, small little kitten-sized javelinas. We're talking about a 200-pound pig, right? Interesting. Those things, you know, they come around this time of year, but we haven't got our monsoons yet, so there's no rain, but they're still out floating around. But interesting about those javelinas, those little babies, man. They were so cute looking. All right, well, that's enough for me, Bob. Let the crickets out one more time out of the cage before you shut her down. Just being out here happy to hear you out there, Bob. Last man standing, Bob. W6LV, clear.
Well, I'm glad you cleared up what the javelinas was, because I had no idea what you're talking about until you said pigs. So I'm still trying to envision that whole thing. And then you cleared up about the brown tarantula versus the black one. I couldn't remember which one was the one that wasn't good for you, and that was the brown one that you said. So that's great. All right, well, that's good. Yeah, good to hear from you, Andrew, as always. And whether it be here on D-Star, and I guess it's kind of both. You're coming in on the D-Star bridge, so. And I let the crickets back out. They kind of know their little routine here, so we'll let them out and do their thing. I want to thank everyone for checking in tonight, especially all of you, and especially all the PAPA members that keep us all going here with our yearly dues and making the PAPA system a great, great organization that it is, and growing. It scares me when they keep saying that it's still growing. It's like, how many more repeaters and mountaintops? But anyway, it's all good. Okay, I want to thank Cecil and his legendary leadership, and all the guys behind the candles, hiding behind the candles and the computers, that do a great job in keeping everything else going too. So, and what else we got? All the net controllers, and thank all of them too. But like I said, especially all you loyal, great outdoor net people. I mean, I always fill a good page up here, and makes my night, makes my week, and I enjoy it. So don't miss next week. We've got it scheduled, and we've got a very special guest coming on that's going to, well, probably blow, he's already blown my mind, but hopefully he'll blow yours too. All right, 7-3, W6CJX, closing the net, 2125, and returning the system back to normal amateur use. 7-3.